Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to our dedicated 20-minute chill craft and chat session. This is where we sit together and focus on doing our crafts, whether that's knitting, crocheting, drawing, sewing, whatever you want, for 20 minutes. And we just try to have a relaxed time with it and chit chat while we do it. I'm Chris. Thanks so much for joining me. Today, I know I've been doing a lot of knitting lately, but today I'm working on this craft kit that is going to be a fuzzy purse. You can see how it folds up like that. It's going to be fuzzy, and it's going to be a purse, and it's using this like weaving technique, I guess. So I just thought it'd be a nice change of pace, and as you can tell, I've already started on it. So we're going to keep going with that. Let me get my timer started. And as always, please leave me a comment and let me know what you're working on today. I want project updates from everyone. And my drink of choice, I always forget to say it. I'm going to work really hard on saying this at the beginning. Grab your favorite drink or snack. Today I have black tea with milk and sugar, which is something I really love, but I don't drink that often. And then I have water because my throat is dry. So we're going to have a good time. Okay, so I am working on this fuzzy purse pattern with weaving, and I'm following this pattern. And I got this kit. This is one of those like all-in-one kits where you buy the kit and they send you all the materials that you need from, I think it's called the Craft Club company. I know they're Australian. I know that much. And I saw it on Instagram, and I was influenced by Instagram to get this kit, and I like it. I have been kind of in a kits phase lately. So let me get started, at least let me get myself started on the next part of the pattern, and then I can yap a little bit more. So I'm doing light blue fuzzies. And then dark blue fuzzies. Okay. So let me get some light blue yarn. Okay. So I have been in kind of a craft kits phase lately, which is not something I could say for the last couple of years. Like, I feel like I have been pretty DIY in terms of like figuring out which projects to do and what pattern to follow and all of that. But I bought a Woobles kit a little while back. The like little crochet kits. And I had resisted buying one because I was like, well, I know how to crochet, so why do I need a Woobles kit? But then they did the Lord of the Rings collection, and I was like, I need to make this for my husband. So I bought it, and then I actually had like a very good nostalgic time doing the kit. It reminded me of when I was a kid, and let me count this to make sure I have the right number. Yes, okay. Yes, okay. It reminded me of when I was a kid, and I would like tag along with my mom to like Joann Fabrics or Michaels or something, which we're gonna need to talk about the closing of Joann Fabrics soon because that is tragedy. But I would tag along with her, and like she would let me a lot of times get craft supplies and stuff. Like if I wanted just a ball of yarn, I'm sure she would have gotten that for me, but I was really drawn to the kits. And so I did a lot of those back in that phase of my life. And I had like a cross stitch kit that was a teddy bear and stuff like that. And so doing that Woobles kit brought me a lot of joy, even though I already knew how to crochet, because it just reminded me of that time. And it also kind of makes the whole process like feel like mentally easier, because it's like, oh, I don't have to think about, oh shoot. Oh no, I got my yarn and my tea. Okay, we're gonna cut off that part of the yarn. And I'm gonna move my tea over somewhere. I don't know. Over here? Yeah. Okay, but I was saying, what the heck was I doing before that happened? Okay, that I was talking about the Boobles kit. Oh yeah, I just found like doing the kit to be very nostalgic, and it kind of took off some of the pressure from being like, this is gonna sound so weird to be like, sometimes I feel like there's pressure when I'm trying to pick out what pattern to do. I'm like, oh, I have to like, you know, be absolutely optimal and what type of yarn I pick, and like I always feel this pressure to de-stash, like this pressure to use up all my art supplies I already have, and then sometimes that limits me in terms of what pattern I pick. And so with a kit, like, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's just like, here it is, do what it says with these materials. And so that Woobles kit, I was way off there. Okay, that's better. That Woobles kit kind of just made me, I guess, very influenceable when this craft kit hit my Instagram feed. And I was like, yeah, I do want a fuzzy purse, and I do want you to tell me how to do it. So I am having a good time with it. It's not perfect. I do 5 of these rows. Yeah, okay. It's not perfect. I have some thoughts about like how they format the video tutorials and stuff, but now that I understand the project, I'm pretty happy with it. But I'm still at the point where like right now I'm just weaving the pattern, and then eventually I'm gonna have to like, you know, fold it, like sew the pieces together and sew the straps onto the purse. So we'll see when I get to that point if I still like it, if I like this type of craft, or if I like this company's tutorials or what. But also just like, I like fuzzy things, and this is fuzzy, so that's fun. So I want to know from all of you, like, are we team craft kits, or are we team use your own materials and your own patterns and figure it out? Like, there's an element of customizability when you don't use a craft kit, right? And it feels like it is your creative expression. But like I was saying, kind of just like, if your goal is truly to just like turn your brain off and relax, I think a craft kit is a really good way to do that. Or if you really like want a super low stakes way to explore a craft that you're not sure if you're going to like, then I think a kit is a good way to do that, because I don't know how many times that I like tried to do a craft for the first time and thought I was buying the right materials and thought I did my research correctly to figure out what I needed to get to do the craft, and then I'm always wrong. And so then I wind up having to like go to the store like 5 times just to be able to do the craft that was supposed to be simple. So a craft kit can help you get around that and can help you cut straight to the like, okay, do I actually like doing this or not? And then if you do, you can, you know, maybe be a little bit more official about what materials you get. Because the thing with a craft kit is that the materials are never like the tools are never like the absolute highest quality. Like, they're usually just like, oh, it's fine. But yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that I am team, there is a good time and place for craft kits, but they have their disadvantages that we should be aware of. Which is the most non-committal answer ever, but that means that it's actually my opinion. I feel like when like someone comes out super strong, they're like absolutely yes or absolutely not, you, especially online, like usually I feel like they're just trying to get engagement. Okay, so I think this was 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Yeah, okay. So then the one thing I will say about this kit is that I'm following the paper pattern, but the instructions, like the video tutorial, told you that you shouldn't have to, and that you should be able to copy the pattern onto the thing before you start crafting. And I was like, that's not, like, I drew kind of the outline of like where I stop, And even that's gone. I don't know where it went. I'll find it. Yeah, so like I drew like the outlines of like, okay, here's the front panel, here's the middle panel and stuff, but like the actual pattern of like what color goes where, I could not. I have to just follow the paper. Okay, so then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm almost done with the front panel. Which maybe is why I feel like I can't see the line. Okay, it's right here. Yeah, I'm almost done with the front panel. So then I'm gonna do here. 1, 2, 3. I will say what about this craft, it's very, very simple technique-wise, which is nice. Like, you have to like keep track of where you are and like count. But other than that, like the actual technique used is very, very beginner friendly and very simple. So if you're like, I'm doing this to turn my brain off, I highly recommend a craft like this. I don't actually know what it's called though. Like they said like woven. I don't know. This like doesn't really feel like weaving to me though, but maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know a whole lot about weaving. 1, 2. I have a loom. I have not like a rigid heddle loom or anything. I have like a little lap frame loom that I experimented with during the pandemic, and like couldn't really find any good tutorials and instructions that worked for the materials I had. And so I was just kind of having to DIY my information, and which I'm open to doing sometimes, but it just like wasn't having a lot of success. So I decided to table it and come back to it. Okay, so I'm done with the light blue color. And then when I had to cut off the white yarn, yeah, okay, there's not enough for me to loop that over. Well, kind of. Yeah, let's not be wasteful. Okay, so I'll do a little bit of the white. Where's this go? Okay. It's a little, oh my gosh, it like barely reaches. Like that wasn't really worth doing it like that, but that's okay. 6. Okay. Do you have to say it is a little intimidating to do a project that involves a lot of counting live? Not live, but like real time with witnesses. Like watch me make a super basic counting mistake and embarrass myself. I don't think I need that much, only a little bit. Oh my gosh, here's these dogs going by. Okay. So I was a little nervous to do this project because as cute as it is, as much as I love the look of the fuzzy yarn, like let's be real, fuzzy yarn is not fun to work with. It gets everywhere. It's hard to see where things are going. And so I was like, is this just going to be a whole mess? But it's actually going okay. I think probably because I'm not actually knitting with it, I'm just kind of weaving in and out, so that makes it a little bit easier. But, oh gosh. This reminds me of a dance costume I had when I was in junior high. It was fuzzy. But yeah, are you all like team like fun yarn textures and fuzzy things or things like that, or are you just like, I want classic wool? This is like one of my first times genuinely using like a fun texture yarn for a project, for like a full project. And I thought it was gonna be a nightmare, but it's been okay. You see, I was kind of like having to be very specific about how I got the yarn into the needle. Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like this is like a very controversial, like a very like hot take, not hot takes, but like people have really strong opinions about this in crafting, like if they're into like the fun textures or not. So please let me know what you think. Your team fuzzy yarn, or if it's the stuff of your nightmares. Okay, let me try and shoot. Which direction was I going? This way. I'm trying to like capture the yarn tails while I do this so that I don't have to weave it in later, but also that would, require being aware of where I am. Okay. Okay. Man, I'm getting really close to finishing this front panel. I've done a few of these 20-minute crafting videos, and I'm really, and like throughout my life, I'm very, in all the different aspects of my life, I should say, I'm very into the idea of like, you can accomplish a lot in a really short amount of time, if you're consistent about it, right? Like, if you craft every day for 15 minutes, it's not going to feel like you need, like, you can still be like a busy person and still like have time for this if you do it 15 minutes at a time, and I feel like you can really make progress or be consistent and really say this is something you engage with regularly if you embrace these small chunks of time, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I do this a lot with a lot of aspects of my life. But even though I'm not new to the concept of like little 15-minute activities, the last couple of videos, I've been actually really impressed with like seeing how much I can actually get done in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And surprising myself, like I've gotten a visible chunk of this done. And I think it really shows us that, like, I think showing up consistently in whatever it is that's important to us is way more important than necessarily having to feel like you do it full out, or all like, you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, I have to do this for 3 hours in order for it to mean that I'm doing it. It could be more like, no, I should show up consistently even for a small amount of time, and that really, in the grand scheme of the world, adds up to quite a lot. And I'm trying to also apply that concept to things that I enjoy less, like exercise or other things like that. But I think, especially with something like crafting, it feels so optional, right? Like, we're doing this for fun. Very, very few of us are like craft professionals out in the world, and very, very few of us need to do these things to like I don't have to knit to have a sweater, right? In fact, it's probably not the most cost-effective way for me to get a sweater, but because it's so optional in my life, it can feel really hard to take the time to do it because it feels like everything else has to take priority. And that's why I really like committing to this small chunk of time like we're doing here. Because it's like, well, me crafting for 20 minutes isn't going to prevent my chores from getting done, right? It's not going to prevent me from doing my work or anything like that, but it makes sure that I'm tending to my own actual like emotional needs and all of that too, and not just prioritizing everything else. I underestimated a little bit how much of this black yarn I would need. And I think like there's some kind of like bleeding between the colors. Like you can see this like blue is going into the black there and stuff like that, but I think that kind of adds to the vibe. I like it. I'm not going to worry too much about it being absolutely picture perfect crisp edges. I know I'll get better at it over time, and it's okay if it's not perfect when I'm just starting out. Oh, that's too much. That's okay though. Man, I have like 1 minute 30 seconds left, and I'm like, oh no, I messed it up. I was like, I really want to finish the front panel, and I have like 3 stitches left to go, but now I messed up threading the needle, so I won't get to finish. But this project is fun and easy to pick up and put down, so I'm sure we'll do more crafting videos with it. Let me like do something. Here? Is this it? Yeah. Yay! Okay, that was my last stitch. That was our 20 minutes. Let me know what kind of progress you made in your project. Let me know how this went for you, and just a reminder, we're here to take this 20 minutes for ourselves to dedicate to the things that we love to do and to ourselves every day. Thanks for joining me. See y'all next time.